Welcome to God Answers Prayer. I'm Linda Tiano, your host, and today, as we get ready to hear another story about how God is answering prayer, I'd like to go to Psalms chapter 30, verse 5. And it says there, I've learned that his anger lasts for a moment, but his loving favor lasts a lifetime. We may weep through the night, but at daybreak it will turn into shouts of ecstatic joy. I pray that if you feel that Yahweh is angry with you or that you have let him down, that today you may not only weep at the sorrow, but also know that joy comes in the morning. Jose Saldana is here sharing his story today. We'll be right back. Welcome to God Answers Prayer, and I'm here with Jose Saldana. It's good to have you here.
It's so good to be here.
And you're with Elevate Ministries here in
That is correct.
Rio Rancho? No, in town.
Yeah, in town.
Yeah, okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, are you native New Mexican?
I am born and raised Albuquerque. It's always been the battle of the green versus red, but I like Christmas, so I'm definitely born and raised from Albuquerque. I am a worship leader. I am also the young adult leader at our church as well. And, I tend to dabble a little here and there with graphic design. So.
Oh, good. So tell us a little bit about your journey. I mean, were you raised in a family of faith?
Yes. So I was always in the church since I was a little kid, and I think that's what kind of drove me into music. Was just listening, my uncles playing music and my cousins playing. So growing up in church gave me that opportunity to also do what I love now, which is to worship God. And
right. So growing up in church is wonderful, but then there's a point in time where you kind of have to make a decision, don't you, on your own?
Yes. I think it started at a young age. I kind of always wanted to do something on my own. And I think that's where I kind of started fumbling a lot of stuff, and so I wanted to, I remember I was a kid, always wanted to do, wanted to be famous musician, or wanted to go do something, but always wanted to partake of what the world had to offer. And, I wanted to look a certain way or do certain things. And I think that kind of made it difficult for me, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, being raised in church, in a family of faith, but there comes a time when you have to own the faith yourself, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I think it came down to a part where growing up, again, my parents always instilled in me the values, our just Christian values, and also, our home values of always, seeking God first in any moment, that He's going to be front and center in everything that we did. And so I remember when I was actually going through a hard time that I had to do it myself. It wasn't wasn't my dad or it wasn't my mom. I mean, yes, they still prayed for me, but it also, like you said, it had to be me.
Yeah, you had to seek Him for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So I remember that it was a tough moment, but it's that coming to God moment that really helped me establish my faith.
And I mean, Jose, I mean it's one thing to have a great voice and a talent, but it takes it to a whole nother level when it's all about Him. Tell us about that.
You know what? I was so set on having a lot of like being just the drummer, because I started off as just a drummer, and so I would always lead the team from the drum set with a microphone and be able to talk to them that way. But leading worship now, where I'm just playing guitar and just welcoming the Holy Spirit into the room, that's just totally different. And I get to actually just enjoy being in His presence while worshiping.
Yeah.
And so that just, again, we are the leaders in that. So in that aspect as well. So you're helping others connect as well, with Jesus in that moment in time.
Amen.
So it's wonderful. I do enjoy that a lot.
But do you feel like that sometimes there's a danger of worshiping worship?
That is heavy. I will say there's a lot of people that do change that good feeling, the little the sweet sounds of just the worship, and so yes, it could be dangerous. It could be dangerous because we don't want to be just somebody that's a seat warmer for the message, but and just feel good for the worship. But we also have to, have our hearts open to the message, the worship, and everything in between, because God can speak to you in many different ways.
Right.
It could be in the foyer when you're meeting somebody. So.
And I mean, I'm sure people walk in and think, oh, they're up there, they're just doing their thing. But I mean, there's a lot of preparation
Definitely
that goes into it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely. Our team is very in touch with their music talents, which is very well. We used to have practices every Thursday, just so we can get ready on Thursday, have all the new songs down, and then ready by Sunday. But as of lately, they've been doing such a great job that we've moved it just to Sunday practice in the mornings. And so again, it does come with learning new music, learning new tempos, different strumming patterns, and so firmly they have they have adjusted very well. The team is doing fantastic. I'm very proud.
And then there's also the preparation of your heart.
Very much so. I think one thing that as a worship leader is, yes, we want to make sure that you can play. We want to make sure that you have the skill set, but most importantly is your heart. We want to make sure that you are connected, that you have a heart for Jesus. We want to make sure that you have a strong faith, because it's hard to be a leader and you're kind of lost. If that makes sense. So
it does, and I think about I was listening to a worship song this morning, and Carrie Job and her husband, and I was they came out of Christ for the Nations, and just listening to the way that they moved into open worship. And maybe for some people that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's the freedom of leaving the pages,
exactly,
and the structure, and just allowing the Spirit to begin to sing and play through you, and that's when the glory really begins to come in.
No, I definitely love that. I love it just because, again, you're in fact right. It is the free worship that is just like, it's not staged.
Right.
It's not something that we have just prepared. No, it's you're worshiping. Now you're fully connected.
Linked,
Now exactly. Now you're linked exactly. So, and now you're actually having a one-on-one time with Jesus while you're doing something that you like to do. And so, I love that personally. I love just praising God and having that one-on-one time with Him.
So I know you're a father.
Yes.
But tell us how that whole journey got started in the first place.
Okay. So like I said, there was a time growing up Christian, I did want to go out and have my own thing, and so we were in high school, and of course, I met what I thought was my high school sweetheart there. Fortunately, it didn't work out. We did end up having a child, which is my Layla. Love her. She is now 10 years old. But it wasn't always easy, especially like hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, you already lost out on life," or "You already kind of ruined whatever you could have done. You could have been something great." And what I did was I just kind of put those voices aside, and just continued pushing through. I was in a time where it was kind of dark, kind of looking for an answer, and so actually my answer came in the form of Pastor Valentino, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, well, we know that you do music. We wanted to see if you wanted to come join us at church And for the longest time, I said no.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember, no, I don't want to go play at a church. I don't want to do that anymore. And again, it's because I was lost. And so I remember him just continue talking to me, and a friend at the time was just inviting me to the church. And so I said, you know what, fine, I'll go and I'll help you out this one time. And he was preaching, and I remember just saying, man, how I missed this, how I needed to hear that sermon, and how he said something that kind of helped me kind of find my way back. And he said something about, like, your past doesn't determine what your future is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, man, that's so true. I was a single dad at the time. I said, you know what, man, this is something I needed to hear. Whatever happened in the past is not going to determine what my future is. And whatever people have said doesn't matter anymore. Like, I'm going to be the best dad that I can be for my daughter. And so my brother always kind of gave me a verse as well. It was on Psalms 30 verse 5, the weeping may endure through the night, but joy comes in the morning. And that also kind of just lifted up my spirit and said, you know what, I need to start believing those words, that it is going to be hard and it's going to be difficult for a time, but joy comes in the morning.
So you had custody of your daughter then?
Yes, we have joint custody.
Okay. So, as you were sharing, and I was thinking about, no, this was not expected. This was not the course of action that you had chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not have been the course that God would have initially have chosen, but He'll work with us.
Exactly.
And, look at what you have because of what you've been through. Got a beautiful Layla.
Yes.
Is she a musician?
She wants to be a musician, so I am definitely trying to, like, help her out with that. She wants to be a drummer like her dad, which is great. So she's kind of learning the steps of how to prepare herself, how to first and foremost get over with school, do good in school, and then everything else kind of goes. But she just loves music, and she loves recording me when I'm, like, playing in the worship team, which is funny, because then she goes, I want to do this one day. And I was like, it all starts with your heart. Mm-hmm. It all starts with you worshiping God and being transparent, being good. And so it's pretty awesome to see how she gets to worship as well.
So you said we have joint custody, but are you married again?
I am married. So I met my wife at church. She's actually one of the chorus singers as well. And so we talked about it. And again, this is a whole thing that kind of made sure that, she understood that I also have Layla's mom. Maybe she's not in the picture, but I have respect for her as well. Yeah. Uh-huh. And so and there's that love that just that she's Layla's mom. Mm-hmm. And so before anything happened, I wanted to make sure that Layla was okay with a new mom, a new stepmom, right? So it was something that was difficult for a bit, just because it was just
an adjustment.
Exactly, that adjustment. And so but once I met my wife, Layla definitely loved her, and just kind of said, oh, well, and she called her mom and stuff, and I was like, whoa, like that's
God.
That's God. And so we got married, and now we've been together for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So just had an anniversary, which is great.
Oh, good. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it's wonderful that you share the same interest, but outside of that, and we're gonna come back and talk about maybe some of the other things that are going on in your life and how all that works. But first, I just want to say thank you to you all for joining us today. And if you're out there and maybe you feel like, God, you've fallen through the cracks and God doesn't really care about you, He does. And He hasn't lost track of you. Give us a call. We've got prayer partners that will pray with you, and we'll be right back after this. Well, I'm back with Jose Saldana,
Yeah.
and we were just talking about, you've been married now for 4 years. The Lord brought you a wife, and you share worship. I mean, we should all be sharing worship with our spouses, but I mean, but the joy of being used in that manner. Now, do you work outside?
Yeah, so I currently work for a day center for seniors. It's called Mayberry Senior Services. It is a great place. I love, just helping people. I'm very much a people person.
Yeah.
And, just giving people value, letting them know that we care. Just being there, being a helping hand, and again, just sharing love, sharing a smile. That's all I really like to do there. So
it's like a retirement center kind of thing.
so it's kind of like your respite care. So and basically just giving families just kind of a little bit of a break for people that have like dementia, Alzheimer's, or any declining.
Yeah.
But I love it. I get to spend time with a lot of people that are quite the characters, but it's great. And again, it's kind of getting to hear their story and their testimony. So
yeah, I mean, that's got to be amazing. My mother-in-law is in a retirement home, and I think about how important it is to be noticed. Just that somebody notices you and touch is so important.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I love to just be there with them and again have conversations. A lot of them kind of just let me know what they've lived through, or maybe some of them were in the army, or they have different various stories.
Yeah.
But one thing that we all connect with is music.
There you go.
And so I get to share some music with them as well. So it's fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, music crosses lines that nothing else can. I mean, it's especially when it's infused with the love of the Lord. I mean, it can do things that, it can heal.
It definitely can. And it just even then brings back memories to a lot of our friends, a lot of our clients there. They love to sing old hymns. And I'm just like, wow. And it just brings back memories even for me, because when I was a kid, we used to sing hymns, and so it's just great. And they tell me, I was like, oh, well, I've been saved for 30 plus years. And I'm like, that is fascinating. And so again, they just get to share. And now I also get to share that I'm a believer, and that they're like, oh, well, you're doing such great things for the Lord. And I'm just like, that is so awesome to hear. I just love sharing with them. It's just so
mutual admiration thing that goes
definitely,
on there.
yeah.
That's wonderful. And what about your wife? What does she do?
My wife's a nurse, so yeah, she works night shift as a nurse, and so again, she does love caring for people as well, and so we get to spend a lot of time, kind of like telling each other stories about how our days went,
yeah.
and so. And how we made a difference. I think that's the most important part, is how we can make a difference in someone's life today, right?
How important is it? I mean, you see people in conditions that are hard.
Definitely.
And a lot of people go, oh, I would just slap a prayer at it, but I mean, how important is it to hear what the Father is saying about them?
Right. I think it's just so good to know that you are a masterpiece, right? That you are perfectly and wonderfully made. And that's something I kind of share with my clients is we tell them to give themselves a huge hug, and I tell them, we are beautiful, we are wonderfully made. And every time I say that, it's funny, they always say, amen. And so I'm like, you believe it, and that's the beauty of it. Is that you believe that God made you as a masterpiece.
Yeah.
To know that you were set apart. And so, like I said, me and my wife kind of just share that with our clients, and they have fun, and they believe it, and so it's awesome.
Well, so often too, I think that people, especially in situations where they're, you know, dealing with health issues or different things, that they just settle for, you know, a diagnosis, instead of saying, well, Lord, what do you have to say about this?
Right.
You know, I mean, you made me.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you know who I am, and you know what I can do, and I trust you.
Exactly. That's so true. He's the doctor of doctors, right? Yes, it is good to hear, you know, what the doctor has to say. Yes, but that is not the final word.
No,
You know, God has the final word on everything.
absolutely.
And so, you know, just having that and trusting in God and, you know, seeking out God in those moments, it is imperative. Just because you want to make sure that, you know, you're connected, right? You're linked,
Right.
not just in worship, but just within yourself, you know, with God. That way, you know, it is His plan for your life and what goes on with it, right? So it's not whatever you want it to happen, or you're not just gonna settle, like you
Yeah.
said. So.
So tell us, when are your services over there at Elevate?
Yeah, of course. We have services every Wednesday at 6:30. We also have Fridays. We have youth nights, and or young adult nights, and then lastly we have Sundays every Sunday at 10 a.m. at Elevate Ministries.
So what are your Friday nights like?
Well, you know, we're trying to get rowdy in there. Definitely, it's fun. We have two amazing youth leaders that we have, and they are just on fire for the youth. And I think it's just so awesome to know that they're encouraging and just loving and just ready to give out a lending hand to the youth, and you know, just kind of give them an example of what it is to follow Christ. I think it's very important. They love getting rowdy. They love learning and
Yeah.
and they love kind of just having fun. You know, I guess a lot of people think that you know, because you're a youth, you're not allowed to have fun or do many things.
Or
But
Christian youth.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So you know, but it's quite the opposite. You get to have fun, just do it in a loving and healthy way. You know, so I think it's great. Young adults is also very interesting. We get to, you know, go out as young adults and maybe like, because you know, young adult age is kind of difficult because there's not really a lot of connection going on. We have kind of just grown into this little quiet. I'm not trying to talk, or because you feel like you're too old for the youth and too young for the seniors, you know.
Right.
So you're just in a weird little spot in the middle. And so what I've wanted to create was a place where we can just kind of be transparent with each other and be able to just have and live life together. So in Elevate, we have a saying that is together, together. So doing life together. And so it's pretty fun. We go out, we have like dinner at a restaurant, but the good thing is we share the gospel. And so we're always just talking. I share a little devotional or something, but at the end of it, is probably my favorite thing is we give just an example is we give a thing of what we're thankful for and what's something that you want to be prayed for. And it's every time we meet, we always share that. And
So important.
it's just awesome because we want to hear the praise reports, but also something that you really want to be prayed for.
Yes.
And so so again, we have that fellowship time and then that at the end, and we all get to pray out loud together for each other. So it's pretty fun.
So there was a time when you felt alone.
Yeah.
You were out there and you didn't feel connected. So what would you say to somebody that's just like you were right now?
You know, you're not alone. You know, God is always with you. My thing was always trying to look for the wrong answers. I was honestly looking in the wrong places for the wrong answers, but God is right there every single time.
Amen.
He's in the whisper, right? And He just wants you to just say, "Hey, God, I just need you right now," and He is right there. He's at the doorstep of your heart.
There you go.
So.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and sharing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
I'm going to ask you to pray for Jose and for Elevate. Prayer is powerful. And thank you for being a part of Sun Broadcasting, being part of our family. We love you. And if you have needs, if you need prayer, please call us. We'd love to pray with you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you. May He lift up His countenance upon you and give you His everlasting peace. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you for joining us today on God Answers Prayer. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on our program, please contact us by visiting kchftv.org and click on Share Your Testimony. Our prayer partners are here to pray for your needs. Call us today at 505-345-4165. We appreciate your prayers and support. Join us again next time for more inspiring stories and testimonies. Remember, God is always listening, and He answers our prayers in His perfect timing.